Well, it's a wide open spread, a lot of receivers on the field at the same time, typically three or four, and they could put five out there as well. So it's a predominantly shotgun offense, obviously with Murray in the shotgun, and one back in the backfield. And really, regardless if it's three receivers and a tight end, their tight ends are, good pass receivers. They can run. So it's a spread out deal. It spreads you, stretches you this way horizontally, and then they stretch you that way vertically, just based on the speed of what they have. And Kyle Murray's ability to throw, he has such a strong arm, throw the ball, deep. He can throw the ball deep. So it's a up-tempo. We expect them to be moving fast up on the ball, probably most of the time no huddle. And,
Did you ever play him in college?
We played, yeah. We did not play Texas Tech, but my years at Syracuse, towards the end, we played West Virginia, who was in this system more or less, and then one year at Syracuse, we actually played Hal Mumme and Mike Leach in the Music City Bowl. When this thing was, Hal Mumme was starting it, the air raid concept, we played them in those years, so we kind of got a dose of it in the inception of it, and then came back years later and played against it at West Virginia. And then my 2 years up at Boston College, obviously we played against Clemson and we played against Virginia Tech as in a four open, wide receiver deal. So we played it a little bit.
Did you use that? Like, especially maybe specifically the West Virginia stuff, because you saw them running really this.
Yeah.
Then, like, you use that and go back to that?
I think right now you use every resource you can get your hands on. Right now you're watching as much as you can watch, and you're trying to write down and catalog anything that looks good, that anything anybody's done. You don't really care who's done it right now, but if it looks like it might work, you're considering it. So you're considering all options right now.
Does that in some way give Arizona an advantage because they're the first-time quarterback or first-time head coach? No film period.
Yeah, I would say that there is quite a bit of the unknown, as you go into this game. So we're going to have to be able to make some adjustments. You make adjustments in every game, but in this game, considering that, in 4 preseason games, for any team in the NFL, how much do the starters really play? Whether it's Detroit or it's Arizona or it's the New England Patriots, actually, how much do they really play? They don't play really that much. So it's very, very hard to get a gauge on exactly what you're going to see.
How much does it add to it when there's so much talk about the passing game and how they spread it out, and then that running back's one of the best in the league?
Right.
Did you have to deal with that?
Yeah, you put too many resources, into the pass, and the run hurts you, and if you put too many resources into the run, the pass hurts you. So that's the whole idea of this, and this offense is really an explosive deal when you've got real speed at the wide receiver position, and they've got a Hall of Fame receiver, in Larry Fitzgerald, who is going to really present issues in this offense too. So, so it presents a lot of problems. It really does.
Paul, you mentioned writing things down, taking notes of every little thing that create this big catalog. When did that process start? Was that March, or was that July, or last week, or when did you start?
Yeah, for me, that probably started like in 1995, you know, maybe before you were born, you know? Really, you know. So,
You can draw on those bold notes for something like this.
oh, heck yeah, heck yeah. You know, experiences you've had, offenses you've played against, styles of quarterbacks, wide receivers. So I think, you know, you're trying to, go back on all the experiences you've had and the staff. You know, fortunately, we got a great staff. A lot of these guys have, been involved in this. So you're just trying to pool all your resources.
Was there a more complicated, more concentrated, I guess, study of it when you knew you were opening?
Oh yeah,
and you,
yeah. There's no question. Yeah. There's no question. You're researching. But let me say this to you too. That I think every coach, every team in this league and probably in college football. We did this a lot in college football. We tried to study like the first quarter of the season. We tried to say, okay, we're going to study the first four because we're really not going to get a lot of information on those teams. So let's do a lot of research now, and then once you get beyond like game 4, now at least you've got a 4-game study. When you play the 5th team, you got a 4-game study, so you got a pretty good body of work that you can study from. So sure, we studied Arizona, but we studied a lot of other people too, because there's issues all over the place, not just with Arizona.
This might go way back, but is there anything you need to take from the offense you ran at Syracuse? I mean, it's obviously triple option and way different, but are there things you can take?
The zone read is an evolution of option football. There's no question about it. Back in the day when we were at Syracuse, it was quarterback under the center, and you ran option football. There are coaches who innovatively put the guy in the shotgun and handed the ball off on the zone play, and forgot to block the end one time, seriously, probably forgot to block the end and it worked, and they looked at it and they said, holy mackerel, let's try this again, let's read the guy this time, if he comes down hard, let the quarterback keep it. If he stays over there, let's just hand it off, and there were coaches that, developed that, It's like Emerald Ballard with the wishbone. High school coach in Texas develops the wishbone, years back, and that became unbelievable. But that was a high school offense, it really was.
So one more question on that. What does your catalog system look like? Since you said you study, years and years of your notes.
Well, you just have,
what do you have at home?
yeah, just notebooks. I always like to keep my notebooks, use them as a resource, use them as a library, put the date on them, the team you're playing, and what your thoughts were and what you did from a game plan standpoint.
How many of these notebooks do you have?
Oh, you got boxes and boxes of notebooks.
Yeah. So they just like a cellar someplace, or like where do you have?
Well, here's what I did, okay? I was lucky. So for 18 years, I was in one spot. I was in Syracuse for 18 years, right? So I had them all in one spot. Okay, so then when I went to Dallas, I had to move them all. So I put them in boxes and I moved to Dallas. Then I moved to Miami, so I had to move them again. Then I moved back to Dallas, I had to move them again. Then I went to Connecticut, I had to move them again. Okay, then I went to Chicago, I had to move them again. So I finally said to my wife, these boxes are staying in one spot. I'm only taking what I absolutely need. And if I need one of these things, I'll have to come home and get it, So I stopped moving them all around, but I got a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
I still got boxes in my garage.
How many do you think you have?
Oh, geez, there's a ton of boxes.
So did you go home then and look at it?
Well, over the summer, yeah, you're doing your work over the summer. You get some weeks off over the summer, so I always like to go back. I like to research football. I like to, read. Go back and read the coaches' magazines sometimes. College coaches, high school coaches have a lot of good ideas. Football's football. So for me.
So they're in Chicago now, just there?
No, they're in Connecticut. They're in my garage in Connecticut, stacked up.
Yeah, Paul, one of the defining characteristics of against defense is its versatility, its multiplicity.
can't always put that together in 1 year from a personnel standpoint. So now that there's 2 years of personnel and 1 year with carryover for the guys that are still here, how much better prepared do you feel this defense is to have that characteristic, I guess, really show?
Well, I think we're much more comfortable. You know, I think we all, the players who have returned, you know, unfortunately we got quite a few guys who have returned. We've added Trey, you know, who's been in this system. So I think that we're much more familiar with, you know, what the system is, fitting the pieces, trying to get the right guys on the bus and getting them in the right seat, so to speak. So I think that's a process, and that's a work that you keep trying to get better at. From a defensive standpoint, we need to play together. You know, we've had so many injuries and nicks and bumps, and we haven't really had an opportunity to put the whole, you know, unit together and get them out there for an extended period of time. So that'll be a work in progress, you know, this week and as we start the season.
So, when you do?
Pardon?
So what do you think it looks like when you do get them all out there?
I think that, yeah, I think that, you know, when we have everybody healthy and everybody out there, and we haven't had that chance yet, you know, I think given, you know, an opportunity to play and to get to know each other, I think then, you know, we'll have a chance to, you know, hopefully play good defense. But we've got to, it's a work in progress, and we got a ways to go, to be honest with you.
When you add pieces,
He's asked to play a bigger role early on. How just your comfort level in getting step?
Well, I think that, you know, he's a rookie, you know, so we're not going to put any undue pressure on a rookie ever. So we'll try to, you know, coach him and, you know, bring him along, you know, but I'm not going to make any predictions or statements on a guy that just got here a month, 6 months ago or whatever. It's the NFL, you know, it's hard deal.
One other question on those boxes. Do you do one notebook for every player? They're fascinating to me. So,
Well, I do a notebook for each, and this is not unique to me. I think every coach does a notebook on each opponent you play.
so every week it's a new one? Or you
Every
add
week.
to an old one?
No, I keep, I get a new binder each week. Every coach gets a new binder each week, and you keep your notes and the game plan and all your information in that. And then you put it away. So, you know, so when we play Green Bay, I'll go back to the 2 times we played them last year, pull that notebook out, read the evaluation, what we did good, what we did bad. You make notes like we got to do this differently next year, you know, so you're always using that information. And then if there's similar opponents, if there's similar concepts, like Team A did this, and then 6 weeks later you're playing another team and they're similar, then you go back and look at, hey, we did this against these guys, you know, maybe it's good to think about that, you know. So, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, so for a situation like this, you haven't played Kyler Murray or you
No,
haven't
ever.
played
Right.
exactly as Cliff Kingsbury offense. Do you do those for what you see on film too? Is there some other way
Yeah.
that you do?
No, you do. You kind of try to take notes and write down what you think, you know, what you think you saw that looked good, fundamentally sound, and fits what you do. You know, it has to fit what you do. Otherwise, you know, you don't do it. You don't do
I
it.
wanted to pop back to Jelani for a second. You said no undue pressure. I understand every player's developmental plan is a little different, but with what you did with Tracy last year, where you were able to kind of sprinkle him in early in the year, some substitution packages really seemed to work well. Is that kind of the blueprint you want for maybe a young guy, is to give him a little taste?
Yeah, I think with any young guy, you don't want to throw him to the wolves, you know. And in this league, that's exactly what you put somebody in before they're ready or too soon or whatever. I mean, you're setting the guy up, you know, you're setting him up for failure. So I think the best approach, I mean, you're talking to a guy who redshirted Donovan McNabb and Marvin Harrison. And, I mean, I've redshirted Hall of Fame players. You know, and just think about that for a minute, okay? All right, so let me ask you this question, all right? Just Donovan McNabb. All right, if Donovan McNabb was not redshirted, is he the number 2 guy in the draft? I don't know. Maybe not. You know, maybe not. So taking that, you know, maybe more cautious or slower approach, I think pays pretty big dividends. You know, now I've got 2 kids. All right, my oldest son plays close stick midi for Mike Presler at Bryant University. Okay, I asked Mike to redshirt him. I said I want the guy redshirted. Okay, my other son is at BC. You know, redshirted. You know, so I mean philosophically, I really believe in that. The only guy I ever played early, I played 2 guys early. Okay, I played Dwight Freeney early. And I played Dwight Freeney early because he was just so mature. And I played Robbie Conrad early. If you guys remember Robbie Conrad, fullback. Okay, played for Miami. He's a great player for us at Syracuse. Those 2 guys were just so mature and just could handle everything. You know, schoolwork, off the field, on the field, weight room. So I think for most guys, I think for most people, you know, having a chance to ease into it really is the best way to go, I think.
Just because young Class 1 guys can, failure is not the right word, but coming up short of their expectations can impact them mentally going forward.
Yeah, you kind of put them back, you know, you build them up, don't tear them down type of thing. So, you know, we've got some good young players, you know, and hopefully you're in a situation where you can do that.
Paul, you mentioned kind of the players second year. So how does that factor in with the coaches too? How much more?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that familiar, especially on the defensive side?
Yeah, it really hurts. It just makes the meetings better because everybody knows what everybody's talking about. You know, it's not like, well, somebody uses one term and the another guy uses another term. Well, they mean exactly the same thing, but it's like I'm speaking French, you know, and you're speaking Italian, you know, so what does that mean? They both mean the same thing. So at least now this year, our terminology, you know, you can get through a meeting faster, you know. And
How does it play out in game?
no, it plays out because you're moving fast. You know, you're making adjustments. You know, you come off the field, the first thing you're doing is making those adjustments because you may be running right back out there and you want to get it fixed and you want the kids to have a clear picture of what you're talking about. You know, so it's just so much better. You know, it's just so much better.